Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 175. Done raising my voice. So I've had another great, lovely week for me. So we'll be discussing typical type of things, current events and talking points. Pleased to announce some more lawsuits. I'm continue to be the victim of crime, and we keep denigrating Brad and blaming the victim, so probably one of the most denigrating experiences of my life. But really just a typical talking points and relevant and random stories. So first off, I'm going to start off with a story because it's been fantastic. Again, I told you about my old basketball coach, Peter Patton, who is the current one of the shooting coach of the Dallas Mavericks. I've been trying to start businesses for years. I've posted about it publicly on LinkedIn, politely and respectfully. Remember, this is year 6 going on. This is year 6 going on 7. Like done, math subject done on somebody's desk. So once again, I got scapegoated. If you're the more mature person in the group, you will get scapegoated. And so I read you the text. I maybe sent him 3 or 4 messages on LinkedIn. I think the first one was, again, I've deleted it. I'm done with the guy. I'm done raising my voice. But I get a message of something like, "Fuck your children, pay me," assuming that he knows what's going on. Because how could you not? Again, I was in a personal interaction with Mark Cuban, his boss. I don't know if it's his direct boss, but if they're on the shooting coach and warming up, you can certainly interact. And so it's just like. And there's 100 ways to pay me, and I'm under financial stress, and that is literally it. And so I messaged him that, and then he messaged that to my parents. My parents. I'm going to be a 30-year-old man today, and I emailed somebody that makes probably $250,000 to $400K, teaching people that make, how much does Luka Doncic make? 40 million, 50 million this year? So again, we have a grown man teaching other grown men who are younger than me to shoot hoops, making millions of dollars, working for a billionaire. While I have health problems, right? I have a bad back. I can't get $25,000 a treatment stem cells. I can't afford it. And so just sitting here thinking like, wow, this guy can go, he can make good money, has a family of his own. My dad literally built his career, and he works for billionaires, and they get to the point where it's like, this is an athletic facility. I seriously doubt Luka Doncic has any problem with any physical treatment he needs. And so I would like to have health for myself. My constitutional rights are violated. So that is a threat to me. And then so I emailed Peter Patton. Again, it's like a fuck you in a bar. Again, this dude literally neglected me as a child. I remember him, he told Brendan Schlabig and Ryan Maloney, again, my old friends who are also employed from being just playing games and come all day. But he literally told my old friend Ryan or Brendan that he was going to punch him in the face. So this is a guy that has done nothing besides play games all day, threatened literally minors with violence, and neglected and abused me personally. I remember I told you the story about him kicking me out of basketball practice. I said basketball is stupid. And now I'm trying to start a business, and his boss has legal obligations. They're distributing my property. And it's just like, hey man, can you fucking do something? You can't walk down the hall to Mark Cuban's office and be like, hey, dude, can we do something? Again, as clearly I have been blacklisted from society. And so he emails that to my parents. And so I don't hear anything back from it, didn't know, my parents didn't bring it up or nothing. And then my mom has to come over the other day to trade out SIM cards. Because again, we have to penny pinch. We always have to penny pinch. I forgot, my parents are just bad at saving, I guess. Thought they had more money than they did, they're just not good at saving, or they're just straight up lying to me. Regardless, it's disrespectful. I'm doing everything I can to make money, made a financial agreement, and I'm doing everything I can to network and start a business. That's what everybody does. And so my mom comes over to change SIM cards to go from Verizon Wireless to T-Mobile. And so, again, my mom comes over, she has an attention span of 2 weeks, 2 months, and 2 years. And so every 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, she has to remind me that, she's gonna be retiring sometime. It's like, Mom, you're only 62, 63, you could work another year. I'm doing everything I can. And regardless, you made a business agreement. You can either work another year or simply just be aware that your bank account will go back as a loan. If your bank account goes down and then I pay back later, it's nothing besides financial stress for Brad. And so my parents didn't bring up the Peter Patton comments at all, but I did, because my mom puts financial stress on me. And then my mother is just, once she gets offended by her own behavior, she is going to project it onto me and blame me for it. It has been the only behavior that anything has ever occurred in my entire life. My dad, my mom, all of my teachers, all of my coaches, everybody. And they can easily watch somebody else do it, but then they just blame me. Like, I've literally been neglected to the point of abuse by a community. But I'm too mature to process it as trauma. It's not traumatic to me. I'm not sad. I've never been sad. I've never been homicidal. I've never been suicidal. I'm just sitting here, literally preparing content all day, and I'm pretty pleasant. Like I'm not like a bad mood, because I don't get mentally fatigued. So there's no point in my day where it's like, I'm tired of creating content. Just literally never. I would just like to get paid for what I do. Simply that. And so, when my mom comes over to my house, and then she literally says, and she just starts spiraling out of control, and then she blames me for her emotionality. At no point do I raise my voice, at no point do I yell at people. It's just her emotionality. She blames me. She's scientifically uneducated, and she disrespects my life's research in my house. She literally says to me some famous quotes from our conversation was, "Who would even want to help you?" Just like Sergeant Bill Kosiski. "I don't know, Mother. I thought a mother would like to help their son, especially when they're the victim of a crime. So I offend you by saying, please help me start a business," which again, I posted publicly and politely for years and years, which nobody responded, nobody networked with me, nobody shared a post, nobody did anything. I'm offering partnership deals right now to distribute my property. And she's like, "Who would even want to help you?" And it's like, I don't know, Mom, I don't know, but maybe my mother, but obviously not, because once I offend you, it's kind of like we just like shut down. But so she said that, then she again insulted my entire life's research. She's like, "What if they never publish?" Again, publish what? The one physics proof, which is again the most high achievement of the species you could do, or one of my 11 other careers. Throw away that paper. Who gives a shit? Throw it away. Who cares? I don't care. I don't need to be a physicist. I don't need to be a mathematician. I don't need to be a musician. I just need something to work. Something. Houses paid, cars paid, $200,000 in cash, offering money to distribute my property. All I need is to cover. Again, I've lived at this house for 6 months trying to get my feet underneath me of what are the bills and utilities going to cost. I live on an airtight budget. I've never lived above poverty level. And every 2 weeks to 2 months to 2 years, my mother has to be like, well, you're going to have to, and she made a business agreement. Our agreement was, again, I could have been living at my parents if they weren't so immature that they scapegoated me for everything. I fed the dog, my aunt's dog, an extra scoop of food, and since then that is why I've had to move to apartments. In the first videos of my channel are me at my parents' house. I could have had $600,000 in the bank, chilling at my parents' house, cool as a clam, don't give a shit at all about living alone or living with my parents. Don't care at all. I'd like to be around my family if they would respect my life's research. So she says, "Who would even want to help you? It's legally obligated." And then she was like, "What if they don't publish? Okay, publish one thing, Mom. You don't have any idea." And I literally said, I was like, "Mom, is Santa Claus real?" And at this point in the conversation, she's all like mad and flustered, and she's just flustered about her own behavior, projects it onto me, and then I asked real practical problems for me. And so I was like, "Is Santa Claus real?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Is dark energy real?" She's like, "I don't even know what that is. It's still nothing. It's still nothing." But she has to blame me for everything. But that's how she works. She insulted me in my house and then shut down the conversation and left. And it's just as disrespectful as possible. In my house. I have never gone 2 weeks without some serious denigration to me. Ever. At any point in my life. Ever. My parents are mature enough to love me. They don't care. Please honor your financial responsibilities. And I don't want a 6-month notice. I want you to respect the agreement you made, or I will have to take legal lawsuits are not threats. Go watch CNBC when someone breaks the law and they refuse to do anything to help it. You file a lawsuit simply to recover your damages. You made an agreement, Mother. You will loan me $2,800 a month. I will pay you back $3 to every $1 you give me. In addition to that, I will give you 5% of my alcohol company. So that is a very good business deal. And so, but you agreed to that. And so now that you want to retire, or again, just not see your bank account decrease and apply financial pressure to your kid, then you have to make these comments every 2 weeks. Then you get flustered that I'm trying to do stuff. I do stuff all day. All I do is try to make money. All day I was trying to make money. I literally just applied today or inquired today about an audition for the Columbus Symphony Orchestra. My resonance voice literally scares people, so why can't I go sing? I can, but I'm blacklisted by everyone that could give me a job. I would literally do anything for $40,000 a year. I don't need to cover a lot of bills. But my old neighbor Adam is like, "Why are you still trying to do stuff?" My mother literally in my house is like, "Well, I don't think that stuff happened." 40 different people at the apartment buildings interacting with me every other day. My mom just gets flustered and has to disrespect everything that I've ever done. And so please honor your financial responsibility, Mom. But it gets even better. And so again, my mom and dad, because my mom literally disrespects me in my house, and she's like, "Oh, I want to get home before dark." And she's literally just uncomfortable with the conversation, disrespected her own child in his house, put financial problems onto him as I'm the victim of a crime, and then says, "I'm just going to leave because I don't." And then she goes home, so I call her back, and it's just like, you can't So I'm just going no contact with my parents. Again, I love you guys, but I don't respect you. You need to respect your financial obligations, and what you've put me through is the most denigrating shit I've ever been through in my entire life. I'm 0% sad. Once you get primitive behavior, maturity, civil behavior, once you mature a little bit, you can't go back to primitive behavior. I'm not sad, I'm not mad at it, angry. I'm pleasantly constructing content that I just hope to get some traction on. I just hit 50 subs on YouTube, which is amazing. But, so then I call my parents back later that night, and again, I can hear my dad's like listening in the background. He's like weeping and like sobbing, and both my parents are just children that never grew up. They weren't mature enough to have a child today, let alone 30 years ago. And then the minute they get offended, they have to disrespect and blame me. So I told my mom they're not welcome at my house anymore. I got my key back from my parents. But what happened was like my mom, once she blames the victim, she says, I just want to make sure everyone's thinking straight. So she blames me, and she calls this weird Columbus Springs East. This is like an in-person, weird Looney Tune bin, where it's like a restrictive in-person psychiatric hospital. Not like a therapist, not like a psychiatrist. You go in there, and I have no respect for your mother after this. You have to stop blaming me for your and your friend's problems. You slandered my name. That's a criminal offense. I need law enforcement, not a civil work, a social worker, and a fraudulent psychiatric thing. And I literally told my mom on the phone, I was like, okay, I'll show up to whatever you want me to, just to sue them. I literally told him that. So I go to this place, Columbus Springs East, which is a fucking Looney Tune bed. And all I need is my money. Again, let's do an experiment. Pay Brad a livable wage. And let's say, because she says I have angst and my posts look like they're menacing or mad or threatening. No, right? When the normal thing is like, when you have like suicides, I'll just take two examples. Twitch, the dude that recently committed suicide, and the Gober, the Brian, whoever that killed the Idaho people. Suicide and homicide, right? Twitch is, he looks fine on the outside. Now I tell you exactly what I feel. And it's not sadness, it's frustration. People owe me money. I'm under financial stress. That is the entirety of my angsty or aggressiveness. It's the entirety of it. And so the healthy person, the healthy, emotionally stable person, says exactly how they feel. And then, but if I say I'm good and okay to my parents, it's just like, no, they've already blamed me. They've had an emotional event. They have to blame Brad. They never matured enough to stop having primitive behavior. They just haven't. And so I go to this place, and again, it is just, you get like a 40-minute survey with a social worker about, again, just like the most standard fraudulent things coming from the government. Just again, it's like, questions you get are like, have you ever had suicidal thoughts? Never. Like, I'm trying to survive. I love my life. I just don't get to live it. So it's like other people have not had their constitutional rights violated to the point where they can't do anything in society. They just haven't. And so, I'm 0% sad about this shit, man. But so, yeah, it's like, do you want to hurt yourself? No. Do you want to hurt other people? No. Are you in a good mood? Yes. I'm in a good mood as long as my mom doesn't bother me about money every 2 weeks to 2 months to 2 years. Anybody out there that's ever been on a job hunt, it's pretty stressful, right? Everybody out there that's ever started a business, it's pretty stressful, right? Everybody out there that's have been financially stressed, it's pretty stressful, right? Yeah, I do all of those things at the same time, and it's illegal. And it's just like, you go through all the things that I'm fine. There's nothing wrong about me. My day is so structured. I wake up probably around 6:30. I'm out of bed, but literally right around 8 o'clock pretty much every morning. I do my walk or take down some content, maybe play a poker tournament in the morning, do my breakfast, record a video, and I run a full house. That's another thing is like, are you depressed? It's like I run a full house. My living scenario is completely stable past 30 grand a year of income for paying my gas bill. And so, oh my goodness. But what other kind of questions they ask you? It's like, do you take care of your hygiene? Yes. I clean, cook, clean, do all the chores as a full house. So when I say like my life is like a maximum financial stress, it's like I don't have like a girlfriend like go grocery shopping or chip in here or chip in there. It's just all me. And so like, are you unstable? And the other people going in this place are again, their lives aren't together. And the only thing I need is financial stability. But my mom blames me. And then I say, in her words, not mine, I want to make sure everyone's thinking straight. I want to make sure you're thinking straight. You should be in there. You need to grow up, not me. I just need financial stability, and I'm the victim of a crime. And then when I try to solve that financial stress that you put on me because you're violating an agreement, well, then I reach out to Peter Patton, who works for a billionaire, and then they blame me, and I have to go to a shrink that's like a fucking Looney Tune bin. Okay. So we're sitting in the lobby beforehand even, and my mom's like, again, I'm a 30-year-old man, I'm just doing this so I don't have to feel financial stress. My mom controls me. It's been a toxic, manipulative relationship my entire life. The state of Ohio and the United States Constitution being violated is the sole driver of why I have to continue that relationship and that toxicity. You can pay my money, I had a fine relationship with my mother. But she was like, it's not even about the money. In the little thing. She's like, I want to make sure you're thinking straight. It's like, Mom, you guys are the emotional ones. I have never been emotional in my life, and you've just scapegoated me. It is true. You can't accept it. I can't change your behavior. And then you can't accept facts. Disrespect me in my house, and then leave. So we just please respect your financial obligations. If you can't, I will have to take legal actions simply for what you agreed to. I don't want your money, but past that, we don't need to communicate. You want me to be happy? We'll stop. And then she said it to me in person in my house. Well, if you stop stressing me every 2 weeks to 2 months about money, as I work all day, it's not like I'm just sitting here doing nothing. Documented online, publicly, whatever. So what are questions are there? But to the actual Columbus Springs East, it's a fraudulent medical practice. The things that I've proven in science that simply haven't been published by the FDA, which structures your questioning, which are all just weird shit. Once you grow up, you can't break down. And then I just get blamed by everyone who can't grow up. And so it's just like, again, it was like a 20 to 30 minute, you had to sit there. It was so late and I'm not punctual. But the first thing is when the chick walks into the room, I reach out my hand and she's like, I'm not going to shake your hand. Excuse me? Oh, and you don't want to shake Brad Bowes' hand? No problem at all. No problem at all. And so again, just pure disrespect. Guilty until proven innocence. I am strictly there to satisfy my mother's weirdness so I can pay my bills. And then I walk out of the thing after again trying to be scapegoated by a social worker who has no scientific background. I got her name. Forget where that's at. She will be sued for benefiting from a fraudulent medical practice. Columbus Springs East will be sued for fraudulently. The medical practice is fraudulent. But M. Colby. I was recommended Community Resources, and the Community Resources is like a hotline number if you feel sad. I've never been sad my entire life. So I walk out of this thing, and it's like you have to go through like a metal detector that like, waves you down because you're a total Looney Tune. I just want my mother to respect her financial obligations, but I don't have access to court, so therefore we just have to blame Brad. There's no other option besides blaming Brad. And so I come out, and my mom's like, that's it? They're not going to lock you up? I was like, no, Mom, you should go back there. And then she gets offended, and I got my key back from my house, and I was just like, please respect your financial obligations, and we don't need to speak anymore. And then she's all sad and mopey and dopey, and it's like, my goodness, you guys are the problem. You could choose to grow up. You could choose to get to a maturity level where you respect my life and my career. But they can't. They can't. And so again, it's just the most denigrating thing ever. And so again, I sue people. When you break the law, I sue you. When Columbus Springs East has a fraudulent psychiatric practice based on things that I have personally proven incorrect. They're asking about cannabis, like being like a substance abuse thing. How often do you use cannabis? I eat an edible every day so I have a nice appetite and I can sleep. And I've proven, and then the FDA is not sure about cannabis. And I go watch GMA3 with Dr. Ashton, and they just cite the FDA, and they're not actual scientists. They're science administrators. They've never done research in their life. They have a license from a state, which is fraudulent at the entirety level. And there's too many people involved in the crime to care. And so I called the Columbus Springs Vet East back like after the appointment. I was just like, I'm going to sue you guys. And I'm threatening nobody. I said I'm going to sue them. And I can hear them in the background. Same way I hear my dad in the background. It's like, who's this? Who's this? Who's calling? Who's this? I just give them my name. And then they're like, are you homicidal, suicidal? I'm like, nope. Are you threatening anybody? Nope. I just need a legal contact so I can sue you guys. And then they were just like, well, we can't do anything for you. Have a nice day. And then not but 20 minutes later, there's 2 more cops outside of my house. They called the police for a wellness check after explicitly saying I'm not homicidal or suicidal, and the entirety of why I was there was to satisfy my mother's insecurities to the point where she abuses me. It's not traumatic to me. I just need my money so I can cut off a toxic relationship. And so I met Deputy A. Shukri, the Somali. I was guessing their names. I thought his name was going to be Tariq, but I was wrong. And Deputy Brian Yoder. Both younger guys, so I got an update. It seems like Brian Yoder said Robbins got this, so I'm assuming he got fired. But frankly, again, as someone who has no respect for law enforcement because my rights are constitutionally violated to an extreme level, these people actually were bad. They were not aggressive. So Deputy Shukuri and Yoder, they were fine. But again, to me, this was swatting. That's what I told Yoder. I was like, this is swatting to me. I explicitly told these people, again, this place is a Looney Tune freak show bin. I have a running legal complaint on the internet that I post about every 3 days. I post content every day. And so these people were fine in terms of aggressiveness, but Columbus Springs East calling for a wellness check, and again, after explicitly saying there was nothing wrong, and then they mocking me, and they get offended, I say I'm going to sue them, and then they wellness check me. That's swatting. It's swatting. So there's another suit there. Then I call my mom back, and she's like, well, if you say you're going to sue someone, that's a lawsuit, or that's threatening. What about my constitutional rights? What about when I had to go homeless and sell drugs for 4 years because the OSU University would not allow me to do research? How is that not threatening to my life? And then I managed a Bitcoin train over 7 years, every single day, and so I've managed to stabilize my life a little bit. And again, I'm trying to go from, I'm not on the edge of being extremely sad, I'm on the edge of being extremely successful. And I want that to actually materialize. So that, to me, that's swatting. But these deputies were actually fine. They were not aggressive. They were plenty polite. They were plenty, again, they can't control somebody calling in a wellness check. But Franklin County Sheriff's Office, all I am doing is scientific research. There was nothing wrong with me. I'm more mature than everybody. I'm just creating content. And so that was a lovely interaction. And so, after all of that, the next day, this is all within 24 hours. So the next day, again, all this affects my ability to eat, but it's happened so long where it's just I'm back to baseline of I don't even give a shit within 24 hours to 48 hours for real. But again, this is the most denigrating experience out of everything that's been documented so far. And so, the next day, again, I ordered Flyers Blacklick Pizza, store 108, owned by Brad something, but Hannah Wallace would not give me his name. And so I call Flyers Blacklick Pizza yesterday to order stromboli. I have maybe ordered stromboli from this place maybe 2 to 3 times a month since I've been here, maybe. And my entirety of my interaction with these people have been, I call ring, do some role-playing, ring. Hello, thank you for calling Flyers Blacklick on Pizza. If you'd like to skip our money-saving offer, please press 0. Ring. Hello. Hey, can I start with a phone number? Yep, give him my phone number. Is this Brad? Yep. Hey, Brad, how can I help you today? I'd like to get a bomber stromboli, please. All right, give me about 20 minutes, and you can pick it up through the drive-thru. All right, thank you. About 20 minutes later, go through the drive-thru. Hello. Hand him my credit card, get my credit card back, say thank you, have a nice day. That has been the entirety of my interactions with Flyer Blacklick Pizza. Call them the day after this wonderful interaction with my mom in this freak show fraudulent hospital place. And they're like, we're gonna have to put you on hold for a second. And I was like, okay. And then the chick, Hannah Wallace, comes back up on the microphone and it's like, I'm sorry, but we can't take orders from you. You've been banned from the store. Mind boggled. Dumbfounded. I've not had, when I get kicked out, when I got banned from the dispensary, or got banned from the car dealership. At that point in time, I'm going to sue them or something. This point there's been no altercations. There's been no confrontation. There's been nothing besides me saying thank you, placing my order, handing them my credit card, and collecting my food. So this chick named Hannah Wallace at Flyers Blacklick Pizza, store 108, refused to serve me because the manager put a red flag on my account, and that has been truly the duration of my interactions with this place. And so within 24 hours, my mom wanted to lock me up because she doesn't know how to behave, and then I got banned from another store for ordering food. But again, guarantee it's my residence level. My voice scares people. It just does. Illiterate people are not educated. They resort to primitive behavior. This is part 175. So, and also a lawsuit for Flyers Blacklick Pizza for discrimination. You can't tell me you can't serve me. Again, no altercations, no interactions, no swear word, nothing. Nothing. This is the most mind-boggling one of them all. So that has been the past 48 hours for me, but I don't raise my voice, I'm not mad. Mom, please respect your financial obligations, and past that, I just need my space. It's been pretty long story time this time, but I had a lot of talking points, so this will be a pretty long episode. See, I'm still rolling. Because the last thing on that situation is, because the officers were like, why did you voluntarily get in your car and drive there? Because whatever I can do to satisfy my mother's insecurity so I can pay my bills, I'm going to do that. So that's the entirety of it. But I've been scapegoated since I've been a kid. Moving on. Breaking down my property taxes. So finally got these guys. I thought it was interesting to see what you pay for. It's kind of an interesting document. Obviously a little financial edge. But land, building total, I don't know what that means. But I pay for, the most is for schools, which I thought was interesting. Zoo, township, senior options, schools, parks, library, all this, the normal stuff. But schools is the bulk of it. $2,900 every 6 months for schools. I don't contribute anything to the school system. No, the school system should be paying me, but And as the victim of crime, as all of these things going on, I have to pay the state, which issues all these licenses, that I can't get a job. Remember, Mom, my academic credentials are still ruined. I still don't have an issued degree, which is all fraudulent. But like I said, if I applied to jobs, I have no problem. I would 100% go sing in the Columbus Symphony. Why not? Try to be a musician. I'm trying to do something. I'm doing this stuff for 5 straight years. It's like I would do anything too. But again, I have a lower bad back, so I can't do a lot of like physically demanding jobs. My academic credentials are ruined, so it's not like I can't go like apply for things. I've been trying to be an entrepreneur for 10 years, so I did apply to be like a Spanish translator. Granted, I'm not gonna sit there and field customer service calls, but I would 100% like translate this Spanish article, this Spanish piece of literature into English or another language. I would have loved it. Like that'd be fun for me. That's what I do. And so my academic research is so in tune with like actual work, things that are valuable to a company. It's like I would do that if it satisfied my mom. But because I just don't care. Like I'm really not raising my voice. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. But saying I have to pay the most to schools is hilarious. So I am school. But that was fun. But I updated my resume. And my resume is such a monster, but it's like I either look overqualified or look like I'm lying. And so, oh my goodness, the quest for 30K a year. But I saw my first royal flush online. I had a little poker comeback, and I've still been playing regularly, but back to probably about a tournament a day. I know my count's about $63. They said lifetime over about 6 years is maximum 120, low like 40. So. I did see my first royal flush. Wasn't too exciting of a hand, but he did get some good chips. So we had a 6-year-old intentionally shot a teacher in Virginia. It was not accidental, and you can't charge under 14 as adults. Teachers in stable condition. Obviously, mother, I think it did come out that the mother, but just in general, it would certainly be a parent leaving a firearm unsafely secured. 100%. But when the deputy's like, "Do you have any weapons?" No, I have a cannabis card. I have no weapons here. I have kitchen knives to cook. My goodness. But I just hate being scapegoated. Like I'm the problem. Thinking my mother and father had an emotional event, not me, and then I have to take the brunt of the result of it. But teacher in stable condition, just an adult leaving a weapon around a kid. 29 people killed during the arrest and transfer of Ovidio Guzman in Culiacan, Mexico. Says won't have much effect on cartel ranks. Deaths are from both sides, with many others injured and severely injured. I've seen further headlines that the violence is raging on, but they said just somebody who studied like a cartel police or border patrol or somebody that's in that scenario looking at the stuff all day says he wasn't very high ranking. His older brothers are up there more, and it probably won't affect the actual operations much. Texas vigilante shoots and kills a robber in Houston Taqueria. Robber had a fake gun. Shooter fled the scene. Attorney has since been in contact with police. No charges have been filed. And that was a couple of maybe 5-6 days ago, so I don't know if anything's further come with that. When I think about vigilantism in general, I sure would call that a vigilante. Dude's in a taqueria eating fucking tacos, and a dude comes in with waving a gun when he thinks to be a gun. That's defense. Something like a vigilante is defending himself. We have to use the appropriate words for things. But again, and then I see some comments on Reddit. It's like, the first shot was justified, the second one was bad, blah blah blah. Again, I would shoot to neutralize in a scenario like that as a civilian. Shoot to take control of the situation. After that, do no further things. Do I blame somebody for double tapping the dude? Absolutely not. And so people need to mature. People need to have mature behavior, and it's just not possible. Speaker McCarthy gets elected and Congress is sworn in. Cool. Can we legalize and prescribe cannabis? So when I go to a freak show Looney Tune weirdo bit and they're like, "Do you take cannabis?" People with any sort of inflammation or destabilizing disease, just general health, should be taking and prescribed cannabis. Absolutely. But we don't do science. We're science administrators. We chase a career, and that's about it. Governor DeWine bans TikTok, and it's the last semester for our great OSU president, Christina Johnson. Again, is she going to get a presidential portrait like Michael Drake for all his hard work denying the most profound scientific discovery ever? What a great look for OSU. But that's the thing, as long as we keep snuffing out Brad's life, as long as we never allow him into the world, then we don't have to take responsibility for actions. How is Governor DeWine not in jail is beyond me. 1,200 arrested in Brazil after prosecutors stormed the capital saying the election was stolen. So you see how behavior transfers? Well, we didn't storm the Capitol on January 6th. Oh, 1,200 Brazil is like, Trump, baby, Trump. Bamo Trump. But, yeah, that was good. Damar Hamlin released from prison. Looks like he's back home. The heart's beating all right now. Nice. We had a major FAA outage halts all domestic flight departures in the U.S. Pause until 9 a.m. to allow agency to validate the integrity of flight and safety information. It said a computer system short-circuited, but then it said could be human error. So maybe human error, then the system short-circuited. A judge denies Andrew Tate's appeal to be released from prison and have his assets returned. So again, still haven't heard much about that. Don't know. The Golden Globe results 2023. And I didn't write down any Golden Globe results because I don't give a shit. I'm over here trying. My parents are blaming me with their own emotions. Oh, Brad, he's so sad. No, just please pay me some money. Please pay me my money. And you guys are having privilege parties where you give each other Golden Globes. What is that? That was the Will Smith. I think who was the other? Murphy made a joke about that this year, but I didn't watch any of it. I was gonna write down some of the results, but this episode's going long enough with the stories as is, so didn't have any results. Hope you watched them. I sure didn't. So you're trying to start a career. 17 killed in California flash flooding and mudslides. Always don't like the natural disasters. That shit just sucks. Nothing you can really do. So it's live in a physical location where you can try to minimize that the best you can. So I told you about getting banned from Flyers Pizza. That is the most mind-boggling one of all. But then even on that one, I called my mom back because again, I still have this I don't look at my mother as like a emotional support system. I used to look at her as a friend. Now it's just a business partner as long as she can respect her business. But she's like, well, did you do something? No, it's never me. I've been documenting this forever in my entire life. This is just the past 5 years. This has been happening for 22 straight years. Every 2 weeks to 2 months at the absolute maximum. In the past 3 years, it's been every 2 days. Oh, sweet. People in Alabama can be prosecuted for taking abortion pills prescribed from somewhere else in the country, said Attorney General Steve Marshall. Well, Steve Marshall, you are distributing my property, and you will be prosecuted for theft of intellectual property, associated damage, treble the damages, yo, RICO. Your rules, not mine. You set the rules, and I'm going to play by them, and then you're going to change them. Triple the damages, every penny I've rightfully earned. India set to overtake China as world's most populous country in the next 3 months, says a UN report. And both countries combine to account for about 35% of the human population. So what does India do next? Well, then what about Nigeria? I think that would be the next billion-dollar population. And then the next one, then the next one. So which India they were talking about with the metaphor of the actual country, Eric Weinstein. Give yourself a break, Eric. I would love to, but I would need to have some money to give myself a break, big guy. How legitimately I'm not mad or angry. I'm just frustrated that I'm owed so much money and my parents act like I'm breaking down as opposed to trying to blow up, in a good way. And I'm on the edge. I have a real portfolio that could go mega, today. Could go viral today. 607 videos, or give or take. But not much to say there, but I do think, again, just for economics, but India already has a massive population, so I think the more interesting fact would be, at least for making an investment or some sort of insight, would be the next billion-dollar population, which I think I saw that estimated to be Nigeria. Last talking points, I watched a little bit of Jordan Peterson talking about his potential to have his license removed by Ontario. Which, again, no respect for Jordan Peterson as a psychologist, but more importantly as a YouTuber, as somebody who could disseminate my information right now and having toxic relationships with every time I deal with anybody, which would be cool. It'd be fun. Just to go do things without being denigrated profoundly. Profound denigration, not just, again, I said fuck you to a dude I knew personally, like a fuck you in a bar, and while he can easily help me professionally. And that turned into oh my gosh, Brad's a terrible, scary person. And it's really just my residence scares people, and I'm demonstrably more mature than everybody. So stop blaming me for your problems. As a psychiatrist, you are required to report abuse. So Deputy Shukuri and Yoder, I wanted to go there to sue those people. And really I wanted to go there to satisfy my mom so I can know I can have money. But again, she flip-flops on that every 2 minutes anyway, so. Past that, I wanted to sue somebody because I wanted to be a psychologist or psychiatrist, which I thought it was at first, right? Psychiatric hospital, I knew it was going to be a weird one, but I thought it was still going to be like a psychologist, not a social worker. So I wanted somebody with a state-issued license that I could sue. So I'm done taking numbers, I'm taking licenses in careers. But, so yeah, as a psychologist, psychiatrist, you're required to report abuse. This isn't abuse, this is ongoing criminal activity. I need law enforcement, not social workers or psychiatrists. And I'm 0% sad, stop blaming me for your problems. But some of the things that Jordan Peterson was facing for the thing, and I have no respect for science in general in terms of issuing state-issued licenses or degrees saying, hey, you can go get a job, you have special education, when Brad's the one teaching everybody and I'm kicked out. So that's stinkies. But on top of that, psychologist is literally common sense. Like the word salad, it is what it is, and then they just start blurting out nonsense. Psychologists are certainly not fundamental physicists. And so, but he said so I have no respect for Jordan Peterson, no respect for psychology, no respect for the act of state issuing licenses to say you're qualified as opposed to demonstrating competent skill sets. But one of the complaints, Jordan Peterson, he's had like 12 complaints, and now his clinical license is under attack by people who also have fraudulent licenses. But one of them was objected. I only watched a bit of part. He's getting interviewed by his daughter Michaela. I only watched bits and parts of it, but one of the things that jumped out to me was objected to having protesters, truckers' children taken from them for protesting. As someone who adamantly would absolutely, again, breaking crime is a lot different than just simply peaceful protesting. But taking kids away from protesters to anyway, no. If they're committing crime, you arrest the person committing the crime. So, right, if you have a dad protesting with his truck, you arrest him for the crime and mom's still at home, then like, why would you take the kid as opposed to arrest the criminal? So that is absolutely nonsense. But that was one of the things that just jumped out to me. I wasn't watching the conversation close. And the last thing I have from that is, he said, I believe I have the right to defend myself. Yeah, Jordan, I believe so too. It's in the Constitution, at least, to collect my property. And in common law to defend yourself, obviously. But I continue to be a scapegoat. I'm really not mad, I'm not angry, I'm tired of defending myself, I'm tired of being called a threat. Right? When we're outside of Steak and Shake and somebody comes up to me and says, oh, he's not a threat, don't call him a threat. And then I turn around to the guy in the OSU shirt and he's like, oh gosh, oh, he knows who it is. Oh, I gotta go. Please just give me a time frame. And seriously, I wouldn't need a job. I have $200K in the bank. That's about 5 years of cash. But this is year 6 going on 7. So it's like, do I try to make a play? Do I invest $100,000? And then maybe I double up or even make 30% and easily make my year's income. Or if I make an investment and it goes down, well then I only have a year and a half of money. So it's just like, can somebody have the dignity and honor and decency to give me a time frame? More importantly, respect your legal obligations to enforce the United States Constitution. It has destroyed my relationship with my parents. It has. And Mom and Dad, I just need you to respect your financial obligations or I will sue you simply for what you agreed to. And it's a good financial deal for you. So that is it for today. Another lovely day, but so I don't care. Like I said, this is the part is I'm not sad. The thing that makes me upset is being financially stressed. Being financially stressed is my mom flip-flopping on her own agreements every 2 weeks, 2 months to 2 years. Please make it stop. Force the law or give me a time frame. That is all I need. And past that, I would get a job, but I have no idea how. My entire life, I've been trying to fit into groups of people, and the answer is I got banned from Flyers Pizza from ordering food. Thank you for watching Language Litigation and Integration Part 175. Done raising my voice.